ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reboot Roundtable, where we talk about reboots, rewrites, and sequels, as well as just general nerdum. And today I am joined, as always, by my main man, Jay.
Bailey, what is up, dog? Yeah, it's actually not always anymore. I missed an episode, and I'm sure
You missed a couple.
I missed a couple. I'm in college and I'm busy, but we're getting back.
I just realized I'm looking at my camera, and you can see the VR outline on my face.
Yeah, you can tell he's a gamer. You can see the outline of sweat and gunk I have on my face.
Oh, I thought you were saying on me. I'm like, damn, dude, that's what happens when you...
No, I was going to talk about sweat and gunk from all the competitiveness.
Competitive
gaming! Out of me.
Because that's what we're talking about today.
Nice segue, Connor. It's almost like I was getting there.
yeah, but I had to do the finishing move, anyways.
I'm trying to keep this PG so you don't have to edit much.
Okay, thank you. That's actually a blessing. We're just gonna get a bunch of comments. I thought this was PG-14 or whatever.
It is. Bum, bum, bum.
Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna talk about competitive gaming. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it ruin games? And we're talking about this because, what do you do, Jay?
Yeah, so I'm in college, but what do I do in college? I actually am on my college esports team. I've been doing esports now for 3 years, and I have a unique perspective in that as a relatively competitive gamer. And
yeah, he's a competitive Smite gamer.
No, I play Rocket League. Smite?
I don't know. It's the worst thing I could come up with on the fly.
All 3 Smite fans just cheered.
Exactly. The 3 of them that exist.
Smite was a fun game.
Yeah, so, what is the game you play?
Yeah, so I play Rocket League. Rocket League it came out in 2015. It's basically soccer but with cars. And I think...
Plug your shit, dude. Go for it.
I don't care anymore. I ain't uploaded in like 3 months.
He does YouTube, but he don't upload. You can check it out.
I did YouTube. I definitely should upload. I still get comments.
Anyways.
So the reason I want to talk about esports and competitiveness in games is that I have found a trend that's been going on for the last 10 or so years, and I'm really interested in your take on is how does competitiveness in video games affect the overall experience? Because we, as like Reboot Roundtable, are all pretty much gamers. We're all gamers, and video games hold a very deep part to this channel even.
Yeah.
Well, one of our earlier episodes was about Halo. And I think that just the overall gaming landscape has been affected so much by esports. Let's not get it twisted. The moment that people found out, and I think the big shift happened from, I know you hate it, Fortnite.
No!
Okay, do that sound again, and we're going to get demonetized.
All right, let's talk about the Night of Forts.
So, what did Fortnite do? Well, it was the most popular game in the world at one point. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
And as it was the most popular game, people realized, oh, wait a minute. If I'm good at video games, I can make millions. What was it? It was the Fortnite World Tournament or something like that Booga won. He won just a straight $1 million in prize money. Like, post everything. Just $1 million to his account, right? People realized that was something they could do by being good at video games. Well, guess what people are going to start doing? Getting good at video games. And I have no qualms with people getting good at video games. Issue is, I feel like it takes away from the experience. People aren't playing to have fun anymore. They're playing for metas. You know, when you hear a lot about people complaining about, oh, those are the sweats.
Yeah.
The people who in Fortnite only use pump shotgun, only use a SCAR if it has a scope on it, or they build up, massive buildings the moment you shoot at them, or like Rocket League players, they complain about people who only use the Octane or the Fennec, and they demo over and over and over and over again.
So you?
No, I do flip resist.
Oh,
check out the channel.
Yeah, I don't want to plug it, he said. Yeah, but no, for sure. I'm someone who, I'm a very casual gamer when it comes to those kind of things.
I know.
Don't say it like that. Damn. I never really got into the competitive scene in any game. I am a sweat in one game, and it's just because I play it a lot more than a thing of where I'm great at it.
Yeah, let's not say you're like a sweat.
I'm a sweat. I sweat in that game. It's why you don't
sweat,
play it with
but
me.
you're not a sweat.
That's fair. But that being Sea of Thieves, which is my crack. Um, but that doesn't really have like necessarily a competitively, but there are still the sweats. Um, all right, calm down. Don't give those looks into the camera. Holy crap, we're gonna start getting comments. Please never have him come back.
They love me.
We'll see.
I
But
love me.
on to the play of like, yeah, I would say that competitive, for some people it's fun, but it does ruin games when people become obsessed with not having fun, but with winning.
Yes, and I think, from my perspective, some games that very clearly reflect that, in my opinion, are Rocket League. I mean, Rocket League's a dying game. And the reason is you can't just hop in as a casual anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can. I have nearly 3,000 hours in it. If I want to hop in on a Scarab and play at low GC, I'm going to win every game, even if I'm not trying. But that, in point, is not fun for them.
Right.
Sure, I may be having a good time. I'm nearly 400 MMR below what I'm supposed to be. That's a big deal, because I've played the game for years at this point, and I'm playing against guys who played it for a year. And I think it highlights to me kind of the issue of like skills keep rising. The game's been out since and these are just general gaming things.
Yeah.
If a game's been out for like 5 years, you got a guy who played it from the beta, has been on it for 5.5 years, trying to play against Timmy, who just bought the game yesterday because there's a Christmas sale and his mom got it for him. And they're going to play against each other because this guy has a Smurf account. And he's tired of playing guys his own rank because he's bored of not being good enough to play with him.
Yeah, and you get that with even like the non-competitive modes. You'll still come across that. And honestly, arguably worse than the people who are good are the people who think they're good. Because that can ruin the fun of the whole game. I mean, it's why I don't play a lot of first-person shooters. Is because you'll deal with the guys who, they will shoot you before you see them. Which, like, fair enough, that's skill. But then you're also going to deal with little Jimmy who thinks he's... what's the highest rank in a Call of Duty game? I don't know. I've not played a COD in years.
They don't have ranks. You can get
They don't have ranks?
I mean, not really. Not that I remember.
I don't know. They might have ranks, but whatever.
I know you can get prestiges. Prestige Master used to be it.
Whatever they may think they are. And he then, like, calls you every slur in the book because you didn't carry your weight. You're just sitting in the background talking about
Now, I will say,
soda pop.
those are fun because I like shouting at children. But
that's going to be... If we ever get big enough to have merchandise, that's our first t-shirt.
I like shouting at children.
Big Comic Sans font.
No, so I kind of wanted to breach into this point a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we tangent too hard, is from your perspective, and this is going to be more of a question, I want a response, but I'm more just going to kind of lay things out. I'm a competitive gamer. You're a more casual gamer.
Yeah.
You have been gaming almost as long, if not longer than I have. Have you noticed the trend? Because I'm someone who has always kept up with the metas. I'm never really lacking in a game. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
I'm going to sit competitively. Like, I play games. But have you noticed the shift? Have you noticed yourself not having as much fun in multiplayer games due to how competitive it's become?
So, yeah, so a bit of, like in context of that, I didn't play multiplayer online for years.
Really?
I didn't start playing online multiplayer until junior year of high school. So like 30 years ago? No. But, no. So, like, for me, though, I've only been really playing online with other people within the last 7 years. And even then, I've never played your games like Call of Duty or Rocket League. The only multiplayer games I ever play are with buddies or it's Sea of Thieves. But I do notice less in the gaming itself, because I don't maybe play a lot of competitive games, but I do try to keep up with the fan bases, and I feel like fans have gotten worse. And I think you see that with a lot of fan bases, not to go on that whole tangent, but I think I've noticed specifically with games that have competitive leagues, you'll see in like, I'm not a big Redditor, but I've seen the Reddit thread pictures where it's like, hey, how do you use such and such in such and such game? And then just some guy's like, shut up! You weren't born in this decade, die. And the kids over here are like, oh, well, I'm not going to play the game anymore. And I think you see games get killed that way. I did play a lot of Apex Legends when it first came out. But as it went on, and I was like, yeah, I want to get into the competitive Apex. I really enjoy it. The game died. And I would kind of blame the competitive to it because they refused to make cool changes out of fear of upsetting the competitive area. And it made the game stale.
Yeah, I agree. Apex was one of those games that I never really got into. You know that. But I do recall that like the Apex devs would always they would just listen to their competitive scene.
Yeah.
Which you can't do as a developer. Let's not get it twisted. You can't listen to your competitive scene. They're going to tell you to keep everything the same always, so they can mess in the meta. That works for a game like chess. We ain't playing chess. We need a bit more players.
This may be my misunderstanding, but I think Rainbow Six Siege does it pretty well, even if Siege doesn't do a lot well, where they keep adding new shit while also keeping their competitive scene happy. I'm not
honestly,
a Siege player, but I am under the impression that's how that works.
And honestly, from what I know, Fortnite itself does it pretty well too. They have separate pools for casual and competitive fans, and it's to the point of where, like, as a casual player, currently you'll run into the map and Godzilla will just blast you, just for fun. Godzilla is not in the competitive mode; people would freak out, right? If I lost $100,000 to Godzilla putting me down, I would be upset. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh, I'd be so hyped. That'd be so cool. I want that as my legacy.
Godzilla
killing me in a competitive game, yes.
That's fair, yeah. No, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, and I think some of this is like, the monetary aspect definitely. It's a game though, and this is something I have not played like any multiplayer of except with friends. The Pokemon Competitive League, which has been arguably around one of the longer gaming leagues, I would say, right? And look, I think it's funny because I don't remember who said it, but someone said they're like, yeah, the best way to play competitive Pokemon is not to play competitive Pokemon, which is a little outside of my radius, but I think you'll have more knowledge than me.
I know more than I care to admit. I've watched nearly every Wolf VGC video. I watch a lot of Moxie Boost. You don't know these guys; these are Pokemon competitive guys. The Pokemon competitive scene is actually really interesting. I'm not in it. I don't play it, but it's really interesting. I think they do it pretty normally. Can't say it's overly well, overly bad. What I will say is you kind of hinted on, and I'm going to branch topics here because it's something I really want to get to before we lose time, is something you branched on was monetary, right?
Yeah.
I'm noticing a trend, even outside of the gaming sphere and talking in content in general, but it is heavily related to what we're talking about, is that everything's becoming monetized. All the things we used to do for fun, right? Think about it. Olden days of like YouTube and video games, you had,
right.
Did early Halo have competitive scene? Yes. When I was playing Halo as a kid, we were jumping in boxes and shooting people. Mm-hmm. And just about everyone played like that. We were all just out there to have a good time, have something fun happen, YouTube. You'd hop on and watch Sunday make a Minecraft video for the 30th time. Or Sky does Minecraft jumping on a boat. I don't know if I can still talk about him.
I don't know if I want to talk about him.
But my statement is that once big numbers, big money was in just being either A, really good at a video game, or B, like a content creator, or like just any of these things all related to the media gaming sphere, which is really what we deal with. Once it all became monetized, that's when I think the trend down started. Because it no longer became a thing of like, we're doing this for entertainment. There became reason for some people.
Yeah, it was no longer... I mean, there was always been some level of monetary. I mean, there were Donkey Kong tournaments back in the whenever Donkey Kong came out. I can't remember.
Yeah, but those numbers you couldn't make a living on.
No, you could not make a living that way.
That's the issue. Once you could make a living on it,
was about reputation. That was what it was about back then, and now it's more about the numbers. I do think it's kind of sad because I do know I don't like, I shouldn't say like personally, but I have seen stories where kids don't even play games for gaming. They'll play it because they want to be good, like insert whoever is popular and not canceled currently.
Had to throw that in there.
But like there definitely still are people who still just play games for game's sake. I think you see that a lot in your AAA games. People like me, who I don't really, or AAA like open world games, I should clarify.
Yeah.
Your story driven games, because like me, I don't even care if the game's good. You give me a pretty scenery and a pretty basic story, I'm like a kid in a candy store.
I was gonna say, like,
But
this
it's
whole
a dying
rant,
breed. Yeah.
this whole rant is about multiplayer games. Don't get me wrong. We had Elden Ring come out recently. I am the hugest fan of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and just the Legend of Zelda games in general. Connor, I know, don't bring it up. You know, we've had Ghost of Tsushima, we've had Doom was a while ago, but Doom, the 2 Doom games that came out, like we have these amazingly built, single player games, and they're awesome. But if we look at multiplayer, what has really came out recently for multiplayer that's been fun and hasn't been completely corporatized?
Release. I think it's Marvel Rivals, and I didn't even
Marvel
like it.
Rivals.
It's not my style.
Marvel Rivals is the first one that I've heard of that isn't like bad. But
Yeah.
we think beyond that, we think like CS 2.0 came out, and
Yeah.
like that was really cool for a while, and people still play it obviously because it's Counter-Strike.
Well, I mean, a great example for a fandom I love dearly is we haven't gotten a Star Wars multiplayer game in a hot minute. And one of the reasons, if memory serves, that like Battlefront 2 was kind of canceled, but it was never like an official thing. But Battlefront 2 didn't have a competitive scene, but they knew Battlefield would. So they moved their developers from Battlefront 2, which was starting to get good, and moved it over to Battlefield 2042 because they assumed that would make them more bank long term.
Yeah. And then also a different game with a similar thing, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. That's why I'm looking over at my second monitors. I'm trying to find it because I had it downloaded. Yeah. It was the game. It was a very popular multiplayer game for all of like 3 weeks, and then people got really good at it really fast, and it died just like that. Because the game was meant to be a party game. Oh my gosh, what was Finals? The Finals. The Finals was really fun when I played it, and then people got really good at it really fast. Game is dead.
I mean, it's why I never played fighting games as a kid, and now I can't play fighting games.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is another great example. I'm still playing Sparking Zero, but I don't play the multiplayer. Why? Because I watched C-rank, perfect combo duels. You don't know what that means. Basically, they're consistently hitting frame perfect inputs. It was not built to be a competitive game like that. It was based on the old Budokai Tenkaichis, which was a game based around you sit on a couch with your buddy sitting right next to you, and you try and beat the crap out of a high-tier character's Krillin, Yeah. Like, it was there for fun, but competitiveness leads to monotony. I think that's a great way to say it is competitive leads to monotony, which becomes boring.
But I think it leads to kind of I think we should kind of pivot to this because I can hear there are hopefully at least one competitive player who's been watching this and is pissed. And to that, I will say competitive does have its good things too, right? Like the title of this video will probably be like, should competitive games even exist? But in truth, yeah, it should. Because there are people who enjoy it. I don't think it should be catered to, per se, as much as it is. But look at Minecraft, which is going to be kind of a wild one to reference. But, like, look at the speedrunning scene, right? Those guys get really good at it. Very similar to your competitive scene. But they adapt each update, right? And it is slightly different. But I think that mindset might be healthier for a lot of the competitive games. Would be yeah, you're coming in, we are going to let you be competitive. And we're not going to have anything too busted or insane. But at the end of the day, we're going to change things up if it is a live service game. And if it's a casual game, then just let it float, right? Like maybe the competitive scene won't latch onto it. And yeah, that may not make you as much money, but people will still buy it if it's fun.
That's what I think should be prioritized. I'm seeing a lot now, like games are prioritizing competitiveness. And like the esports scene, because there's a lot of money to be made in esports as a game. Don't get it twisted. Esports is esports doesn't make money from like a player's perspective. Like from a player's perspective, I get paid by my school to do it. My school is losing every time. They're paying me to look pretty. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not winning tournaments. Like, I hate to break it to you.
Right.
But like, you don't make money as an esports player, but the games, the companies,
they make bank.
They make a good amount of money. And that, I think, it's kind of cyclic in that they pander to competitive.
Freeze. How did you pronunciate that word?
Cyclic.
Cyclical.
Me.
Continue.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that'll get us banned.
No!
Yeah. No, but there went my train of thought. Thanks,
Dude,
Connor.
you're welcome. Something was
Yeah.
cyclical.
It's a cyclic kind of thing of like pander to competitive because they make you good money. The casual scene who's like not really spending a lot of money, so you don't really pander to them. Competitive players buy stuff, go to tournaments, and they make money in your name. Let's not get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
I love that phrase, by the way. Anyways, the casual scene is going to keep getting destroyed and not pandered to. Nothing's changing, so they're going to leave and go play Minecraft. Competitive players are still playing. You have a much smaller player base of like pandered to individuals, and the game's just not fun anymore. If you're a new player trying to get into these games, you can't, because the only players are XX Timmy 69, who's been playing the game since it came out, and he knows all the head clip spots.
Yeah. And the thing is like we're not. Please do not misinterpret us as saying competitive is bad. What we're saying is the environment around competitive isn't in a great state, and competitive is cool. I love that people will put that much effort into it. But like, you should also be remembering they may give you more money, but they're not the vast amount of your players. They will be the minority.
That is something I kind of wanted to say.
Yeah,
as we're like spinning towards is like I've been ranting a lot about how competitive is bad, but again, I do esports.
You are a competitive player.
Genuinely, I think competitive scenes can be really good. Like I said, Rocket League is carried by its competitive scene right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has the casual fan base basically disappeared? In my opinion, yeah. But the competitive fan base is so. I mean, I think Rocket League has one of the best esports out there in terms of its like storylines and just ease of getting into. I think it's a prime example of how to do esports, even if it's not huge anymore. But competitiveness leads to a great culture. It leads to a lot of really fun things if you're in it. But that's the thing, if you're in it. And that's where my issue lies, is that developers are worrying about them a bit too much, in my opinion. And that's just kind of where my rant is.
So to answer the question on the video's title, should games have competitive modes? Yes.
Yes. Oh, competitive modes are a must. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh, for sure.
I've got to see my number go up.
Big number go up. Me and
number
Steve
go
Reeves.
higher. I feel better about myself because I tie my self-worth to stats.
That's unhealthy. Which is why we're sponsored by... No, we don't get sponsors.
We're sponsored by BetterHelp.
No.
I mean...
We'd like to be. Don't get us wrong. I mean, we'll take any sponsor. Please, give us money. But...
We're sponsored today by me.
We're sponsored by ALA. No, I'm joking.
No, we're not.
No, thank you for watching. Yeah, so I assume after we're done with this video, Jay is gonna go play Rocket League competitively. I'm gonna go play Sea of Thieves like it matters. And you all have a good one.
I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope the best for you.
I don't.